what I thought about when you were saying you have girls in two categories. Ones I want to fuck and ones I might like.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing. But for years, and Harry's aware of this, we always talked about women in three categories: bunnies, deers, and bears, in terms of their personality type. So I've been getting a lot of emails on this whole thing about, a bunny is kind of like a model, 22, 23 years old. You say anything harsh, it's too much for her. If she's just like, you got to feed her carrots with your hand open.
Right.
Like,
okay.
you can't even, it has to be just rolled. The carrots have to kind of roll around on your palm, otherwise they run
and frightened.
And then the deer is a little bit where there's some aggressiveness once they're comfortable with you, but initially they're kind of like apprehensive. And then the bear is kind of like Yamanika, like just screaming and yelling.
Aggressive
it's a big leap from the bear from the deer to the bear.
Well, it's scary, yeah.
But what I found is through time is we always talked about that, and we used to talk about that when I did Black Phillip with Patrice, and it's a weird thing because I've changed my thinking about that, and I really think that all of those personalities are basically the same, but they're either ramped up or ramped down, like in terms of how you communicate. That fundamentally, and we talked about this before about the instinct that we talk about how women have found men and mated and been attractive to men and mated with men for over 200,000 years. Human race is 200,000 years old. And so a lot of the things that women find attractive are actually built into the DNA. It's literally built into the DNA, and how we've generation after generation have picked the same. And then we have that social contract of what we decide is ethically and socially acceptable. And that is changing.
That's changed to the point of ridiculous these days.
But yes, the social justice warriors and all this.
It's crazy because it's removing man from being men. It's crazy to me. When you even look at nature and you're watching like male fish that build sand castles to attract females. It's hardwired into the DNA
into the DNA.
Every single species,
including us.
But yet for some reason, it's not allowed to be that way anymore.
Dude, I just watched. I don't know whether it was Croc Week or something, and I'm watching the alligators, and this dude, big fucking 24-foot. Crocodile is trying to bang out this
get that croc puss.
This guy's little croc puss, little gator puss, and he's splashing with his hands like blah 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 blah, and then he's doing this kind of. He's doing this kind of stuff, and she's like just ignoring him,
not impressed.
And then he's circling her, and then all of a sudden she decides she wants to fuck him. She swims out to him. She raises her head above the water with her mouth open, which is like a symbol of non-aggression. Yeah. And then she lays her head on his back. And then they just kind of circle. They just circle, and then they go off and bang the shit out of each other.
That's basically every courtship known to man. That's what it is. It's that
dance.
It's exactly that dance.
Absolutely. And I just was like, but what's interesting is that feminism is trying to say that, that's none of that is true. None of that. We do none of that. That we're all the same, which is just it's an absurd.
It's absurd.
It's really an absurd thing. So
and also you're allowed to have gender identity issues. You're allowed to feel different ways and stuff, but just don't force that stuff into the universe for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. If you have these things that make you slightly to the left or right of center, that's fine. And that's okay, but so many, like you said before, nothing's 100%.
Right.
But a large portion of it is male, female, and that croc dance. That's what most of it is.
Absolutely. And they want to know what you get this.
Sorry.
The other thing is to say that these things don't exist and to negate 200,000 years of evolution
and every species,
right? And nobody's saying that there are not exceptions to the rules.
Yeah, there's exceptions to every rule.
So I was discussing this with the the person that was interviewing me from This American Life, and I was like, well, she was like, well, it's just you're harsh, and you kind of say that all women are alike, and I go, absolutely, and I just feel like all of my friends are different. Really, no, they're not. And then you can't make these generalizations, and I go, well, it's interesting that you can't make that. So I stop, I pause, and I go, well, let me say something, and this may offend you. I go, because it is a generalization, but I go, all children should have boundaries and discipline, and they should understand that there are consequences to their actions. I go, I know that's a bold statement to put out there, and I know it's a generalization, and I know there are exceptions to the rule that some kids don't need that, but I'm going to go out there and say that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you're not upset with this. You're not upset with this generalization. Right. Or you're not upset with the generalization when women go, all men are dogs, or whatever.
Yeah. Everyone pick and chooses. Look, right. You're in comedy. I'm sure you've experienced it a million times where you make a black joke and people are okay with it.
Right.
But if you make a gay joke, all of a sudden some gay guy who was laughing at the black joke is pissed off at the gay joke.
Sure.
We all make the generalizations as long as they don't affect,
right.
us.
You're emotionally attached to it.
Well, as soon as it becomes, then it's a problem. And that's what the unfortunate thing is, that these days, most of us, I think more America than anywhere else, they can't realize that they're making decisions based on emotion instead of reality.
Here's the thing: it's not just America. I mean, look at in Canada, the guy who's the president of Canada, the good-looking guy,
Justin Trudeau.
Trudeau. He's like, it's some of the stuff he's saying is nuts. Yeah. And this is
like what? Nuts?
It's just this kind of gender thing that all
the way on the left.
It's everybody's the same.
Right.
The same thing in Sweden and
stuff.
I
actually realized someone said that in the UK now you can't say assume a pregnant woman.
You can't
assume that the term pregnant woman is offensive because you don't know if she identifies as a woman, even though she's pregnant. So you have to say pregnant person.
It gets to the point where you go, enough, dude. I mean, it's.
I'm waiting for the transgendered man who's transgendered to woman that wants to fight in the UFC. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, there was one who tried, right?
There was one that tried that.
But it's going to happen.
Well, it's just, I get how it was, when black people were used, they would call black people the N-word, and then it was colored, and then it became black, then it became but I don't know black people that you can't call me a black dude.
Right.
But
that's now. That might change in 50 years.
Yeah, but African American is supposed to be but I don't know.
No, I always thought African American was such a mistake.
I don't know black people that go, I want to be. I'm an African American.
Very few. It's only in like college professors.
Well, especially because the term is white. No one says Caucasian American.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that. I think that was just something created by white people to try and be more politically correct.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that bugged me was black wasn't the word that was causing all the problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to change that.
Especially if they're using the word white.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
That was fun. Nobody really. I don't remember that.
And it's still the organization of colored people. They still say that, right?
Yeah, right.
That's the weird part. And then also, what do you call like Jamaicans? If you don't know, they're Jamaican. Like they're not, but they're not African American, right?
They say Caribbean American or whatever.
What if I know a Canadian guy who's black?
Canadian.
I mean, there's only one.
He's just a pussy.
I guess.
No, I mean, it's
TK Subban, but other than that, I guess
it's an interesting concept to not be able to have the dialogue. It's almost like you can't have the dialogue.
Right, you can't discuss anything. Like it's also, I was told it's insulting to ask someone, "What's your nationality?" Like that's someone told me the other day that because she had an interesting look, and I said, "What's your nationality?" She goes, "Well, I'm American, and it's insulting that you would ask me that." I'm like, I just, I don't know what to say. I apologize. I'm done.
Can we fuck? Which is the question you really...
Yeah, I was hoping the answer was Eastern European because that's the kind of girls I want to get in the pants
it gets ridiculous. But we used to talk